Three people form a triangle of intrigue in a story of romance turned deadly. Tonight on the CBS Sunday Movie. To her, he was a man of passion.
I love you.
And mystery.
I want to know everything about you.
But is her perfect lover hiding a secret?
He can't seem to get enough of me.
Or is this a case of fatal obsession?
This woman is capable of anything.
You used me.
I didn't do anything to you.
Now she's caught in a deadly game of seduction.
I'm not sure who to believe.
Pierce Brosnan, JoBeth Williams, and Virginia Madsen.
You're in danger.
One of them is out to kill her.
I have to find out.
Will she become a victim of love? Next.
This is a CBS News special report. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Connie Chung.
Good evening. We'll resume the program you're watching at the point we interrupted right after this special report. The White House has an update on the president's condition. As you know, President Bush is hospitalized with an irregular heartbeat. Let's go to Susan Spencer at the White House. Susan?
Connie, we've been waiting for this update for about 3.5 hours now. We were told about an hour ago that the reason for the delay was that we were waiting for more test results. As it is, we haven't really heard anything about how the president is doing since about 10 o'clock this morning. That is, except from the president himself, who stuck his head out the window at his Bethesda Naval Hospital room and shouted down to reporters, "Don't worry about me." He said he was feeling fine. He was asked if he would go jogging again, and he said yes, basically when they get his heart back to normal. Now, the fact that that hasn't happened yet, we're assured, is not of great significance. It's said that sometimes this can take 2 or 3 days. And I believe Marlon Fitzwater is here now.
President Bush's medical diagnosis today remains essentially the same as last night. He continues to take digoxin and procainamide for the atrial fibrillation. While there have been some indications of a positive response to the medicine, the president's heartbeat has not returned to its normal rhythm. The president is wearing a heart monitor, and the doctors continue to watch his progress. In order to allow continued observation of the president, he will remain overnight at Bethesda Naval Hospital. Mrs. Bush has returned to the White House. The president has spent a relatively active day at the hospital, conferring with Governor Sununu, General Scowcroft, his doctors, Mrs. Bush, and other friends that he has called. He visited with his son Marvin and his daughter Dorothy at the hospital, as well as his grandchildren, Sam and Ellie LeBlond. The president's medical team met for nearly 2 hours this evening, from 4 to 6 o'clock, to discuss the latest test data. They report that the president is in fine condition, good spirits, and showing some response to the medicine. They will review the president's progress again tomorrow morning, perhaps as early as 5 or 6 a.m. The doctors report that atrial fibrillation can last for varying periods of time, sometimes only a few hours, sometimes longer. It is a condition that must be continually analyzed, but can be treated in a number of ways. Because the president is now entering his second day with this heart irregularity, there has been considerable speculation about courses of medical treatment. We want to assure the American people that the president is in a healthy condition. He has not suffered a heart attack. He has not suffered heart muscle damage. We remain hopeful that the medication will return his heart to normal rhythm. If by morning that is not the case, the doctors will consider electrical cardioversion. This procedure is well known and relatively commonplace. The risk is minimal, particularly in a patient such as the president who has no demonstrable heart disease. Nevertheless, it would require general anesthesia, which would be expected to incapacitate the president for only a short period of time. The final decision on this will be made tomorrow morning. During the short time that the president would be under anesthesia, the Vice President would be acting President under the 25th Amendment. Once again, I want to emphasize that we hope the President will respond to his medicine in a way that returns his heartbeat to normal and no further treatment will be needed. The doctors will make that evaluation early tomorrow morning. I'll try to take a few questions before I go out. Helen?
What time do you expect them to meet and make the evaluation?
It will be early in the morning, probably around between 5 and 6 o'clock. we'll notify you here of any decisions that are made one way or another.
How long would the president be incapacitated if this were to take place?
The anesthesia could be required for just a few minutes. It is involved in the procedure of diagnostic exercise that has to go with this process, and it depends on the outcome of the diagnostic effort, how long then the procedure itself would take. But in any case, it would be a relatively short period of time, perhaps only minutes.
Are the doctors distressed that this condition has not been alleviated by the medication? Do they think that that's a matter of concern? Does it show any gravity of his problem?
No, the doctors say that that this progress is to be expected in many cases. The history of this disease is such that you can have any number of different kinds of examples of length of time before the rhythm is restored. Some patients have had it restored in a matter of minutes or hours. Some patients have it for essentially the rest of their life or for years, and they undergo medical treatment. So the doctors will examine this situation in terms of the best treatment they believe is necessary to restore the normal rhythm. But the fact of that we are at this point and that it has developed in this fashion was certainly to be expected by those who study this problem. John?
In this case, we know in advance that the president would be incapacitated if indeed he takes this electrical defibrillator. But in fact, what if something should happen during this time and he should be incapacitated further, or in the future if he should be incapacitated? Who makes that judgment? That's always been a bit of a gray area. Does the president have an understanding, private understanding with the vice president on this? Who determines when the president is incapacitated?
Well, the 25th Amendment is relatively clear on this point. The president, in the first analysis, makes the judgment that he will be incapacitated, and doing so, signs the letters to the President Pro Tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House, which transfers the power to the Vice President. Then there has to be a decision made at the end of this process that he is able to resume his duties. And under the statute, he makes that decision as well. Obviously, that's a decision that he would make in consultation with his doctor, all the medical team, the chief of staff, his counsel, and any others that he chooses to consult.
My question is, what if the president is unable to make that decision himself? Who makes the decision that he's incapacitated?
Well, that's the point, is that the president makes that decision and has to be able to make that decision. So that that's a part of the process. Frank?
Can you tell me if the enzyme tests that they did showed any elevations and whether or not they've made any progress on discovering the underlying cause of this problem?
I don't have any specific test results, and once again, the causes are almost impossible to determine. Yes, sir.
In layman's terms, can you describe to us the procedure that's under consideration?
Essentially, once again, I reiterate that we are hopeful the medicine will do the job, but should they go to this other procedure, it basically is a single application of direct electrical current to the heart. Just one very quick jolt that normally restores the rhythm to the heart, and again, is a very routine procedure. Ann?
What would happen here at the White House tomorrow if President Bush elected to have this procedure? Would Vice President Quayle be here in the White House? Would he conduct the president's schedule, and would he occupy the Oval Office?
Vice President Quayle, of course, would be at the White House in his office of Vice President. I'm sure that's where he would work out of, and he would conduct the affairs of the presidency as he sees fit. The president's schedule would obviously be altered should he be unavailable. And similarly, if he's back at work tomorrow morning, which we all hope he is, he intends to continue that schedule. Kyle.
What was the president's response to the doctor's report?
Well, you saw the president leaning out the window saying, "Let me out of here." And essentially, that's his attitude. He's ready to come home. Ellen.
Marlon, why haven't we received any test results or spoken with any, had access to any of the medical people? The president's been in the hospital now for well over 24 hours.
The doctors are working on this issue as best they can. We have given you the conclusions and have reported to the American people on the status of the president, and there'll be a proper time and place for that, and certainly if the procedure is carried out, there would be a medical briefing afterwards.
So we can expect a medical briefing tomorrow if there is a procedure, and if there is no such procedure, no doctors to explain the president's condition to
If he
us?
isn't, he'll probably be back at the White House. Julia.
Logically, then tomorrow he would have this procedure, and is that right? If you decide, if the doctors decide tomorrow morning, he will have it tomorrow.
They'll decide tomorrow morning what course to take.
What
other courses are there?
Necessarily, would he? Does that mean that the procedure would be taken tomorrow, not morning, or?
It would be taken tomorrow morning if that's a decision to do so, yes. If the medicine has worked in the course of the night, then obviously nothing's necessary.
Would you announce it in advance, Marlon, if that was necessary? Would you announce it in advance?
Right. Yes, we'll announce tomorrow morning what the decision of the doctors is and what course that they intend to pursue. Let's take two final questions. John?
Marlon, is there concern?
John, please.
Marlon, is there concern that if this condition continues unalleviated for any length of time, that it could cause damage to the president's heart?
No, as I said, this is a condition that many people have for the rest of their lives or over long periods of times and years. It is treated in different ways, sometimes with medical treatment, but it will be handled without further problems with the heart, as I understand it. Greg.
Do you know how long he might be incapacitated? And will a letter be drawn up that he signs?
Well, again, I would remind you that President Bush said when he first came into office that he wanted to establish a plan, an efficient and effective plan where everybody knew what they were going to do, to make this a routine kind of activity so that the American people could be assured that should it be necessary, all the notifications were taking place and the letters would be written and so forth. The letters that are used in this case have been written and are carried with the president as a part of the football, as we say it, the satchel that the military carries with them at all times. It's always available should they be needed. They can be updated to fit any different situation. But we are in a situation where, if that is necessary, it will be routinely carried out under the direction of the Chief of Staff.
So have those letters been updated, Marlon?
They have been updated, yes. Joanne.
Marlon, has the Vice President met with the President? Is the Vice President going through any rigorous training or intelligence briefing?
The Vice President discussed the President's condition with him this morning in a phone call. Governor Sununu talked to the Vice President this evening about 8:30 to discuss this latest development, and he is well aware of the President's situation. Let's take one final question here. Yes, sir.
Sir, did anybody give you, in effect, any odds on whether he'll need the electrocardio procedure?
No, the doctors will make that evaluation on the best of their medical ability. Thank you very much.
Marlon Fitzwater briefing reporters. He said that the president is still suffering from an irregular heartbeat. He is taking 2 medications, responding sort of in part to those medications, but not enough. His heartbeat is still irregular. He is staying a second night at Bethesda Naval Hospital. Marlon Fitzwater also said that if by tomorrow morning the president does not respond to that drug medication, he could undergo general anesthesia procedure, an electrocardial procedure, and be under general anesthesia for a few minutes. If indeed that does happen, Vice President Dan Quayle will be acting president under the 25th Amendment. Dr. Sam Fox in Washington, D.C. is a cardiologist with Georgetown University Medical Center. Dr. Fox, can you tell us how serious is this?
This is not serious. This is a type of response that we might expect. The shift to the option of cardioversion is associated with a very low risk of small fraction of 1%, and probably much less in a person with as good a heart condition as President Bush has.
And very quickly, sir, what are the risks of this general anesthesia procedure that he would undergo tomorrow morning?
Again, minimal, fortunately. They usually will give a tranquilizer by mouth or by intramuscular intravenous injection, sometimes followed up by a very short-acting intravenous anesthetic, which will clear in a matter of minutes. Very fortunate, a very brief episode of anesthesia.
And once again, there should be no concern that he is not responding to these 2 drug medications?
No, this is not unexpected, and particularly since the procaine amide has only been active during the day today, and there's very good chance that he may revert on his own with rest tonight.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Sam Fox at Georgetown University Medical Center. Once again, President Bush remaining a second night at Bethesda Naval Hospital, still suffering from an irregular heartbeat. We'll have more tonight on the CBS Sunday Night News with Bill Plant. Now back to the program you were watching at the point it was interrupted. I'm Connie Chung, CBS News, New York.
This has been a CBS News special report.